When you say wine, people right away think France, whether you like it or not. And when you know a little bit more detail, you start to think right bank, left bank. And then if you know a little bit more, it's Grand Cru. You know a little bit more, you know Giscours.
I like that.
It's the truth.
I'm very happy to see you again, and I'm delighted you made it to Margaux, and more delighted that you made it at Giscours, and seeing for yourself what Giscours is about. And it's all related, not of course the wine you have in the glass, but behind that, to make this wine, we go back and we discover our terroir. And Margaux always has this delicacy, this more, I would say, maybe a little intellect related to it, but makes it possible to enjoy a wine when it's relatively young, because it's silky tannins, but also has the stamina.
So that's what we discussed, that your wines you can drink right away and you can age it for 30 years.
Absolutely.
But it's interesting, when I told you it's my birthday, you didn't ask me what year. Why by wine is so important what year we drink?
Now, every year is a different personality. And that's the
like
greatness.
That's
the greatness of fine wine. Wine is the only living element what we can consume, and what travels just as us through time. And when you open a bottle of your birthday, you travel back in time, because that bottle was created by nature. And then you step back to that moment where you were put on this earth. And that makes it unique. That's why I always say, people who have a special moment, a special vintage, a birth of a child, buy a big bottle of that vintage and open it 20, 30 years later, and there is not one word what can discover to the richness what is in your glass. So therefore...
Yeah, but sometimes with Giscours you can be scared that the wine will overpower your actually... Let's say if I'm turning a certain number, I was born in 83, I'm turning 36, and I believe the 83 Giscours is better than me being 36.
But you still look very young. The 86 and the 83 too.
L'chaim.
The 2015, what we're tasting now, is one of those stunning vintages where you really... you will discover the enormous generosity of the vintage, the stamina of very velvet, very precise, soft tannins, and this is a wine what is enjoyable now, and at the same time it's a wine that will last 20, 30,
easy
40 years without any problem.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Giscours, its history goes way back to our forefathers, where the first written proof that wine was produced at Giscours was the beginning of the 16th century. The history goes back to the beginning of the 15th century, but beginning 16th, the first traces were found that wine was produced there. And ever since, upgoing through the classification, has been producing wine in every single vintage.
Oh, wow. Why a winery like you, Grand Cru, that you really don't need it for your numbers or growth? Why would you want to do kosher wine? And back then, who bought dry kosher wines in '93? So
we had a lot of friends who were always very much intrigued with our wines, but for several reasons couldn't drink them. And because there were very close ties and very good relationships with people, we started to say, let's try and see what it becomes. And ever since we started off making a kosher wine every 2 vintages, and we've been doing that for a certain amount of years, we've been trying backwards, and this really became a fascinating story between us. And since I arrived, very well it was in '95. '93 was first vintage. '95 I saw the arrival of the grapes the first time. We created great relationship with your clients also, especially in New York, but all over, where we meet people and they're so happy to be able to drink
Giscours.
Drink Giscours, or classified growth from Margaux, and it became a part of their special events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, or whatever.
You feel connected.
We feel connected. We have people coming here. They enjoy themselves. So it's a good relationship we have.
Very nice.
It's all about creating good, special moments.
Good energy.
Absolutely. That's why
we die once. We live every day.
Absolutely. Very good.
Now we have the 15 and the 16.
So, two remarkable, outstanding vintages. 2015 is a vintage what is very generous, is very round, it has this very sexy, opulent personality attached to it. And then when you come to the 2016, what is all about balance. 16 is a vintage, a little less alcohol, a little higher acidity, so you're more in a typical Bordeaux personality.
It's a warmer, it was a warmer year, or 15 was a warmer year?
15 was a slightly warmer year.
So you smell the alcohol
a little bit more, but it's not burning dry alcohol.
I want to know if you can, I'm not going to look, try to, I think it's stupid,
Turn. Okay,
I'm trying my luck. This is the 16.
Very good.
Seriously?
It's good.
You know,
you got a real specialist here.
Because it smells totally different. This smells a little earthier and deeper.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to describe it, but there is something.
It's the 16 where the 15 is more open, it's more generous.
Yeah,
it's
the
fruit
sweeter
jumps
smell.
out of the bottle.
And this is more French.
restrained.
To me, if I describe it, I would describe it more French.
It's very true. It's a little bit more close. It's also, you will not forget to have a 16 bottle, what we just opened, not decanted, and having it right in your glass. But you will see this wine will evolve. So nice. 16 is one of my favorite vintages.
I like better the smell. I like more the depth of the French.
Absolutely.
I call it like the horse shit smell. That's what you get.
You can't say that. I don't say that. No, but you see what Bordeaux stands for is to be able to make in every single vintage to make a different story. What reflects to the personality of your ground, of your terroir, what's in a way your family values, and then give this beautiful personality what really stands for what the vintage was built on. And the 16 is all about, it's very delicate, very precise, and it's so well balanced, typically Margaux style.
Yeah.
15 is round, everybody, it's sexy, it's open, everybody will love the 15.
Yeah, I know. Most people's palate is the 15. People like fruit forward, they like a little milk in their coffee.
Absolutely.
The 16 is a little more serious. It's for a little more wine snobby. But the beauty with your wines is, and I didn't differentiate it until I came today to Bordeaux, Margaux has a style that you can drink it right away and you could drink it in 30 years from now.
Absolutely.
How do you say cheers in French?
Santé.
Santé. Santé. To friends that turn into family.
I like that. Thank you for coming, my friend.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. This is a privilege. I feel like I'm walking in the King's Palace. The beauty is the traditions, because I grew up with traditions. Our religion is everything, detailed and detailed and detailed. And this keeps us. And that's the beauty of Bordeaux wines. There is no wild, wild west.
No, we try not.